I'm going to give you the 4 keys to streamlining point of sale installation and setup when you're going after those quick serve restaurant environments. This edition of the Merchant Sales Insight is sponsored by a new point of sale company called Snack POS. You can go to snakhq.com to learn more about them. I am so passionate about bringing great technology companies to the ISO agent community because our mission at CC Sales Pro is making merchant sales competitive. And one of the biggest challenges that I wanted to overcome in working with Snack POS as a consulting client and now as an advertiser is I wanted to work with companies where we're trying to streamline the setup process, especially for the quick serve environment where they need a simple solution, but they need something that can be installed quickly and easily because the point of sale installation is such a pain point for agents and ISOs in our industry. So let's dive in this edition to the 4 keys to streamlining point of sale installation and setup. Number 1 is a seamless setup of the actual merchant account, okay? So in order to accomplish this, one of 2 things has to happen, okay? Either number 1, the technology company needs to be the payment processor, right? Or the payment processing company needs to set up a really streamlined integration as far as the underwriting and all of that, creating the gateway account, the bar sheet, all of that stuff to make this really seamless process. So with Snack, the sponsor of this edition, they have both options available. So they do have the, they do the payment processing. You sell with them, you get lifetime vested residuals from them, right, as the payment processor and the technology provider. Or if you're an ISO and you want to do your own payment processing, then you can use Snack POS in that context. But if you're going to do that, just make sure that you're putting the time into having a smooth underwriting kind of onboarding experience for the merchant. Because without that, everything starts to fall apart really quickly. You think about the installation process. Well, one of the big pain points there is the issue of you got one gateway provider, you've got a different technology provider, you've got a different payment processor, and all of a sudden everybody's pointing their fingers at each other because the setup of the account wasn't really streamlined and wasn't done in an integrated fashion. That is just not competitive with the other PayFacs that we're seeing out in the market today. So whether you do the processing through the technology company directly, which hopefully that would be a fantastic experience, right? Or you do the processing yourself, you've got to make sure you've got that smooth onboarding experience if you want to streamline POS installation. Number 2, providing hardware at no cost up front to the business owner. Now, this is super important as well because when you're in a sales situation, I hear so many people talking about, oh, we need to sell on value when it comes to hardware. Well, I have 2 issues with that, okay, with that idea, that concept, right? Where it's like, well, don't give the hardware away for free or on a monthly thing because you want to sell value. Well, 2 big problems I have with that. Number 1, what I find is more often than not, restaurant owners, especially in a quick serve environment, if they have to pay for the hardware, they're going to skimp and they're going to get the least amount of hardware that they can. They may even try to find low-cost alternatives and, used printers and things like that. And that is going to create a nasty installation problem because they don't really have the recommended hardware. Whereas when you take away the cost of the hardware up front, what it does is it allows that restaurant owner to make an informed decision, to make the right decision about the hardware to make sure they have the best setup possible. The second thing that it does is it just unnecessarily, if you're not giving the hardware away for free or at least no upfront cost, what it does is it just drives a big wedge in the sales process for no reason. Now you're debating with them and negotiating with them on the cost of the hardware rather than focusing on the value you're going to create from the software. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, the hardware is necessary, but the hardware itself actually isn't the big value add. It's the software that runs on the hardware. And so I think we want to focus our pitch more on the software than on the hardware. So that's why I recommend, even with these larger restaurants that are doing, a multi-location, quick serve type environment where they need a bunch of stations and all that, I recommend finding a way to work with a provider, again, like our sponsor Snack, who's going to give that hardware away for free, at least with no upfront cost, and figure out more on a monthly basis. So that's key number 2. Number 3 is deployment processes designed for a smooth setup. Now, this is one of the things that was pretty cool about working with Snack because they were starting from scratch. When I started working with them, they had their, a working system, but it was kind of like, from the beginning. And so they were able to design the entire system with this idea of easy installation in mind, and not just the software itself, but even the processes that go on behind the scenes. So as an example, a point of sale system should never be shipped out unless the menu's already been created, the modifiers are created, everything is in place. I even worked with Snack and we created a really cool unboxing video. Kind of like if you've ever gone on YouTube and seen an unboxing video for the latest iPhone or whatever, we created a really cool unboxing video that we provide to the merchant and to the agent as well. And so those types of things, you got to have the processes and procedures in place to create a really smooth experience and make sure that you're focused on making it a smooth experience for the installation. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck at that business for 3 days trying to do bug fixes. Finally, number 4, you need intuitive user experiences for the admin. Okay, for the admin. Now let me explain this for a second. I have worked with dozens of different point of sale providers over the years, and one thing I've seen is there's been a huge improvement in the user experience for the waiters, right, the wait staff, as well as for the patrons, for the people that are paying, to do their, pay at the table, that sort of thing. But where I haven't seen a lot of advancement has been in the admin side of things, right? If you really want a smooth installation experience, the problem is no matter how much work you put in up front, once that system is installed in that business, the business owner is going to want additional changes to the settings or whatever it might be. And if those changes are so complex that they can't do it, they're going to reach out for help. And so the way I like to look at this is you have 3 different layers of kind of simplicity when it comes to admin, usability of a system, okay? The worst layer is where it really can only be changed and edited by admins at the technology company itself, right? So really, you don't actually expect the admins to do any of the work. That would indicate you have a very poorly defined admin user interface, right? That's not ideal. There's always going to be certain things where there's going to be questions, but usually if you take the time to really think through it, you can make it a little smoother. The second layer is where the agent, the reseller, is able to make some changes. So it's probably still a little too much for the business owner getting started, but the reseller, after some training and getting started with it, they can make some changes, right? And that's good. That's a step in the right direction. The final one and kind of the coup de grace would be that if that business owner, if the actual user admin can go in there and it's so intuitive that they can make changes, that's really where you want to be. And that's what Snack has created with their point of sale system, because again, they started from scratch with this idea of the whole thing has to be super user friendly. So, I think it's crucial as we go to market and try to take back quick serve restaurants and bring those back in-house from big competitors. I think it's crucial that we make sure we have a fantastic streamlined installation process. If you want to see what that looks like, head over to ccsalespro.com/snack, S-N-A-C-K, ccsalespro.com/snack, S-N-A-C-K. That's where you can go to get a new video training program that I just put out with Snack POS. And within that, I even have that unboxing video so you can check that out as well. Shot it right here in the studio, did a bunch of overhead camera work and all kinds of cool stuff to make it really look awesome. So you can kind of see how simple that can actually be. In addition to that, if you want to learn more about the reseller program directly, all you have to do is head over to Snack HQ. It's SNACKHQ.com. Reach out and talk to them. I think you're going to be impressed with what they have to offer. Like I said, they have a lot of different options. If you want to be, the ISO model, you're going to be an agent, you want to sell their payment processing, or you want to be an ISO and do your own payment processing. They got a variety of models out there. I would really encourage you to check it out. I've enjoyed working with them, and I really appreciate them being the sponsor of this week's edition of the Merchant Sales Insight. My name is James Shepard, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.